Sussex's statement is extremely sad. King Charles anguishedly responded to Harry and Meghan's request for protection. Hello and welcome to Princess Diana News Channel. Last week King Charles stopped to chat to a group of cyclists planning a ride on the Balmoral estate this summer. Cyclists reported that the king was a very pleasant man. He was wearing a jacket and carrying a cane. He stopped and chatted with the group for a while, and they told him they lived on the estate. Like a quintessentially British man, Charles chatted about the weather and some of his favorite childhood memories at the estate, including a camping trip with his late father, Prince Philip, and sister, Princess Anne. Team mountain biker Andrew McAvoy posted the footage on YouTube. He frequently shares his McTrail Rider channel on YouTube. What a special meeting. Carlos was not accompanied, he had no guards with him. Instead, he's just friendly, open, knowledgeable, and personable. Couldn't be more different from Harry and Meghan, who always demand security, while they represent lesser goals. Britain is such a special place that the head of state of one of the world's most powerful nations just taking a little stroll in his home country makes Meghan and Harry look absolutely ridiculous, claiming that being a royal is so oppressive or that the media are so violent and always intruding upon their privacy. In fact, if Meghan and Harry had stayed in the UK, they could have felt more free to just do whatever they wanted to do. And this is why it was so ridiculous that Meghan and Harry acted like the UK was so dangerous for them. Literally, all the world's wealthiest people bring their children to the UK because the kidnapping risk is so incredibly minuscule. In Britain, they're able to feel free to move around like normal people without always having to look over their shoulders, but Harry and Meghan want Britain's security around the world, not just Britain's security. If Harry gets his IPP status back, every country he and Meghan visit will be required to provide the two with the highest level of security wherever they go. And guess who pays for that bail? Taxpayers. They also believe that it is the duty of the security guards to bring them coffee and food, and they are treated and protected like kings and diplomats. It's really quite crazy. Harry and Meghan have enjoyed more privacy in their free time in England than at any time since moving to the United States. But then again, this topic was never about privacy, was it? Instead, it was about Meghan's desire to return home and use her titles to cash in. I wonder if Harry heard about this experience from his father. Maybe he should point that out because he believes these big defenders need to follow him everywhere. Speaking of Harry and Meghan's request for privacy, I'd like to talk about some of your comments that you made in the South Park is Right Again video. Meghan and Harry's Montecito World Tour has hit a snag. I really like this comment from Crucible 4 Silver. Harry's problem wasn't what he had done in the past. His problem is that he spreads poison everywhere. You couldn't be more right. If Harry and I keep saying this, if Harry stops behaving like this, if he apologizes, sincerely, I think he will eventually be forgiven. But he doesn't. He does the same thing over and over again. And then Kathleen Singleton, Harry can offer more than that fleeting therapy. You are right. And something tells me that Meghan Markle plays a role in choosing these therapists. Patricia Thomas says, frankly, she doesn't deserve to be a mother, because she's not a mother, and I don't think these are her children. She must prove it to me. Veronica then replies that you can't have a baby without a uterus. Also, why is his age information different from 42 to 48? At least I would say she is in her 50s. I also heard that Meghan Markle had a hysterectomy when she was young, which meant she wouldn't be able to have these children. 1 Think, friends, we can now confirm that she is not pregnant. So, do they come from surrogates or do they not exist at all? I'm still not sure, but at this point, at least for me, there's enough evidence to believe that Meghan never gave birth to these children. Mary Riley came up with a great idea. Why didn't they call Child Protective Services to check on the kid and insist on seeing him? And then Carol says don't call and let her know when you're coming. Surprise her. Yes, it is important. Amy says great idea, and yes, definitely a surprise visit. I'm glad we all agree that we have Cecilia, kids. Parents' mental health should be assessed. It's hard to know just who they are. King Charles had to sort it out. The world wants to know the truth and it is nowhere to be found, and then, oh, I saw that Ralph Owens was back with us. Hello Ralph. Ralph said, why didn't you call? Okay, back to you, Ralph. Chapter Why didn't you call? Patricia says it's her own fault that she's stuck in this relationship. If she wants to go out, she can go out. I just told him, go to hell, find a billionaire, but leave me alone. Look, I think that takes more faith and more backbone than what Harry has. Let's remember that Meghan Markle carries her cojones in her handbag. But you know you're right, Patricia. She could find a way out if she just stood up to him. And then Gabriel, I hope South Park gets another episode or at least gets an Oscar. This really shows the duo how popular they are. I am like you, Gabriel. I mean, that South Park episode was funny. I really hope they make another one. And this time, let them focus on the unseen children. I think they could have a great time on this topic. Margaret White tried to explain why Meghan came to Invictus, saying she would never miss the 5-star hotel and all the publicity. It has to be organized by Netflix. She was filmed from checking in at LAX, arriving Dusseldorf. Her off-the-cuff speech was well rehearsed for sure. Margaret, I think you've hit the nail on the head. She thinks she's so sneaky, but she is so incredibly obvious. Cass also makes a very good point. Cass 2020 says, why did she never consider having these children as one of the most amazing things a woman can do? Meghan, being the narcissist that she is, talked about having her children as if she was the only woman in the world who can give birth. I don't believe for a minute that the children are his. You are right. I have said this before, frankly, I'm surprised she didn't adapt another woman's birth story. He was never shy about plagiarizing. And then Vicky, they have no children. Margaret is becoming more and more like her mother every day. They both look 67. I agree with them. Sometimes I think Meghan's mom is actually better than her. And then Kim says that Invictus has to supply her with clothes. A pair of chinos and an Invictus shirt. Isn't that awesome? Show Meghan for once that she is not special. Paul also has several words for Invictus. Paula says the Invictus board should either grow a pair of generic balls or have a new board with balls to replace Harry, excluding Meghan Markle. Maybe every nation needs its sponsor, like Mike and Zara Tindall for Great Britain. Australia and New Zealand need a sponsor for the United States, like Gary Cena and Lieutenant Danton Band, Forrest Gump or Five Fingers of Death. Who uses veterans for their videos? All nations can have one sponsor, and each time there is a series of games, each continent can choose a sponsor from all nations to participate in the games. Just a suggestion for him. I have to say that the pig farm below smells better of the two. My arrows, chickens, cows and goats smell good from them. And win prizes at trade shows. LOL. Thank you very much. Thank you for your comment, Paula. It sounds like your goats, chickens and cows are much more successful than Meghan and Harry. Imagine. I am guessing your pets don't pay for their rewards, do they? And Vicky Lundy talks about how stupid Meghan and Harry are. Vicky says, unfortunately, the price of their PR was paid by professional athletes and their families. Meghan Markle then walks into a cafe that is part of a women's shelter, reportedly wearing a $3,000 dress and not making a donation. I think they might have preferred her to wear jeans and gave them the money. Again, what they touched became impure. They lost their mark again. Thanks for your comment, Vicky. You are right. They went to the finish line again, because every time they did not reach the mark. As I said, both of them are completely ignorant, and Ganymede understands why no one respects him. Ganymede says that these two lack respect for others because of their misunderstanding of reality and cruelty. Thank you, Ganymede. I mean, it's obvious, but it's sad that so many beautiful people are racist every time there's something they don't like about Meghan. Next we have Cam Fung. If people make things happen is so powerful, then why didn't the Dutch royal family attend the Olympic opening ceremony last year? Chapter 1. Guess there are some disgusting people manipulating everything and everyone. It's clear. Nor will I look or walk until the Narcissus disappears, which is what King Willem-Alexander did. Harry is just a weakling. That it was right. Every time I see a picture of Meghan or Sparse, I throw up in my mouth, says Becky. Oh, I understand your hatred. I think most of us here feel the same way. And then Peggy's comment, enough of these strange demands, this bitch is poisonous. Ask the UK Parliament to remove these titles. Japan may have this pair. Oh, Peggy, let's not wish Japan on them. I don't think Japan has done anything to deserve either of those things. Chapter. Otherwise, I completely agree with your comment. Okay, now back to the main content. So when it comes to the King, Meghan and Harry, Meghan's publicist says Charles refuses to pay Meghan despite being a wealthy British royal. Okay, our first question is, what exactly is paying Meghan? Last time I checked, King Charles doesn't owe Meghan Markle a penny. In fact, Charles was extremely generous to both of them. I mean, he gave Harry and Meghan millions of dollars from the Duchy of Cornwall. When they turned down an apartment in Kensington Palace next to Prince William and Princess Catherine, he offered them a royal mansion. He pays for their private security out of his own pocket, unless they are performing royal duties, and then taxpayers have to foot the bill. He paid for all their luxury cars. She paid for their £43 million wedding with private funds shared between Charles, Her Majesty, the Queen and the royal family. And how can we forget the 6 vacations they took on private jets in the year after they got married? Charles paid for it all. But this little man turns around and whines that his dad messed him up, and yes, he moved to another continent to live, but still, Dad had to pay his bills. God, these scammers just don't understand that wiping their asses with a concession bag is a huge mistake. Father never intended to be a banker throughout their lives, especially when they decided to abdicate their royal duties. The life Harry and Meghan deserve is the life they have created for themselves. And if it's a crazy life, they only have themselves to blame. Meghan didn't let any of them die in peace. Shame, shame, shame. And you, do you agree with me? Please let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you think my video is useful, don't be afraid to like and share with others who will enjoy it. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to receive future Princess Diana news channel updates. Thanks for watching. I wish you a good evening and see you tomorrow.